Welcome back to Self-Invested, where we talk about how you can do better with money. In this video, I'm going to be talking about by how much the Help to Buy scheme improves your purchasing power inside and outside of London. The examples that I give in this video will give you a better understanding of how the loan works. It will give you an understanding of how much you can afford with the Help to Buy loan. And it will also give you an idea of what deposit you need to take full advantage of the Help to Buy loan. Now, make sure you stick around to the end because I'll be covering some of the key considerations you need to think about if you're thinking about getting the Help to Buy equity loan, including why the scheme might not improve your prospects of buying a home if you weren't able to buy one without the Help to Buy loan. Just as a disclaimer, I just need to say that I'm not a financial or mortgage advisor. I'm just a regular guy that researches these topics online and shares what I learn. So make sure you do your own homework and speak to an adequately qualified person about your specific financial situation before making any financial decisions. And make sure that if you like this video, you give this video a like because it really helps this channel grow. It helps put this video in front of people that may also find it useful. Now, I'm not going to be talking about how the scheme actually works because I covered that in another video, which I'll put on the screen now, and I'll provide the link just above my head as well. And in that video, I talk about the changes that are being made to the scheme, but I go into detail about how the scheme actually works. Now, if you're not very familiar with the scheme, then I suggest you go and watch that video before watching this one. Otherwise, this video is not going to make much sense to you because I'm just going to jump right into the examples and look at how much the loan actually increases your purchasing power. Now, in this video, I'm going to be using the median full-time salary of an employee in the UK, which is £31,461 a year as of April 2020. Now, the reason I'm using the median and not the mean, which is the most common average used, is because the Office of National Statistics considers it more representative of the average person in the UK, because the mean is skewed by a relatively small number of very high earners in the UK, such as the chief executive of Bet365, who reportedly earns over £400 million a year. Even though I'm basing my examples on the median UK salary, the principles that I talk about in this video will apply to anyone on any salary. Now, in my first example, I'm going to be looking at how much somebody earning the median salary in the UK could afford with the maximum Help to Buy loan outside of London. Now, based on the salary, the maximum mortgage somebody could typically get would be £141,574.50, which is 4.5 times your salary. If we want to make use of the full 20% Help to Buy loan, we need to have at least a 5% deposit, which means the mortgage would represent 75% of how much we can afford. Working backwards, this means that the 5% deposit would be equal to £9,438.30, and the 20% Help to Buy loan would be £37,753.20. And so our total purchasing power, which would be the deposit, mortgage plus Help to Buy loan, would be £188,766. Now, this would be the maximum that we'd be able to afford. Now, to see how much Help to Buy has increased our purchasing power, let's look at how much we could afford without the Help to Buy loan, which would just be the deposit we have plus the maximum mortgage we can get. So this would equal £151,012.80. Based on these figures, the 20% Help to Buy loan has increased our purchasing power by 25%, because £188,776 is 25% more than £151,012.80. Now, if we wanted to increase our purchasing power without increasing our salary, we could do this by increasing our deposit. Say, for example, we increased our deposit to 10% of the price of the property we were buying. This means our mortgage would now only represent 70% of the budget, and the deposit would increase by £10,786.63 to £20,224.93. Because we increased our deposit, we'd now be able to secure a bigger Help to Buy loan of £40,449.86, which means we would have a total budget of £202,249.29, which is an increase of £13,483.29 based on the example we gave with the 5% deposit. Now, because we only put down an additional £10,786.63, but our purchasing power increased by £13,483.29, this means that the 20% Help to Buy loan has again increased our purchasing power by 25%. And this will be true of each additional pound we put down as a deposit. For each pound we put down as a deposit, it will increase our purchasing power by £1.25. This may help you buy a property, but it might also not improve your prospects of being able to buy a property. And I'll explain why later on in this video. Now, let's look at how this would work, or how much our purchasing power would increase if we were buying a property inside of London on the same salary, but we wanted to take advantage of the maximum Help to Buy loan that we could get, which is 40%. If we wanted to make use of the full Help to Buy loan of 40%, we would need, again, at least a 5% deposit of the property's price that we were buying, which means the mortgage would represent only 55% of how much we could afford. Working backwards, this means the 5% deposit would be equal to £12,870.41. The 40% Help to Buy loan would be £102,963.27. And so our total purchasing power, deposit, mortgage plus Help to Buy loan, would be £257,408.18. Now, I just quickly want to draw your attention to the difference between the minimum deposit of 5% you need to unlock the full 20% loan outside of London, and the minimum 5% deposit you need to unlock the full 40% loan inside of London. Now, despite having the same mortgage and having the same salary, the 5% deposit to unlock the 20% Help to Buy loan is only £9,438.30. But to unlock the full 40% loan inside of London, our 5% deposit would increase to £12,870.41. This is because if you want to take advantage of the full 40% loan, you'll be buying a more expensive property, and so the 5% deposit will also be bigger. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone to take out the maximum loan that they can get. In fact, I would say the opposite. I think it's better to get the minimum Help to Buy loan that you need, because you're going to end up having to pay this loan back, and the longer it takes you to pay this loan back, it's likely that the value of the property that you bought is going to go up in value, and so is the amount of loan that you're going to need to repay. And if you pay it back after 5 years, then there's also going to be interest to pay on the loan. So I would say get the minimum loan you need in order to buy the property that you want. Now, let's look at how much the 40% Help to Buy loan increased our purchasing power. Without the Help to Buy loan, the most we'd be able to afford would be our deposit plus our mortgage, which is equal to £154,444.91. Based on these figures, so based on how much we can afford with the Help to Buy loan and without the Help to Buy loan, the Help to Buy loan has increased our purchasing power by 66.7%, more than double the increase in purchasing power of the 20% loan, which only increased our affordability by 25%. And this will be the same for each additional pound that we put down as a deposit. Say, for example, we increased our deposit to 10%, so it was £28,314.90. The additional Help to Buy loan we would be able to secure would increase our purchasing power to £283,149. This means that by putting down an additional £15,444.49, our purchasing power has increased by £25,740.82, which is an increase of 66.7%. Now, in answer to the question at the start of the video, as long as you put down the minimum deposit of 5%, a help to buy loan of 20% could increase your purchasing power by 25%. And a 40% help to buy loan could increase your purchasing power by 66.7%. As promised, I'm going to be talking about some of the key considerations you need to think about if you're thinking about taking out a help to buy loan. Now, the first consideration I want to give is that your ability to take out a 20% help to buy loan or 40% loan is going to be dependent on your ability to save at least a 5% deposit. Without saving a 5% deposit of the property price that you're trying to buy, you're not going to be able to take full advantage of the help to buy loan. Now, the bigger the loan that you take out, the more expensive it's going to be to pay back. When you take out a help to buy loan, it's not for a fixed amount, it's an equity loan, so it's linked to the value of your property. Over time, property values tend to increase. And so the amount that you're going to need to pay back is going to increase. And the longer you take to pay back, especially if you don't pay it back within the first 5 years, you're going to have to start paying interest on that loan. And it's just going to make it a more expensive way to buy a property. And so it makes sense to take out the minimum loan you need in order to buy the property that you want. Now, the next consideration you need to bear in mind if you're thinking about taking a help to buy loan is that because you're getting an equity loan from the government for a share of your home, it means that you don't own 100% of your home. And that means it comes with certain restrictions. You're going to need permission from your help to buy agent or the people managing the help to buy scheme if you want to make any structural changes to your home. So if you bought a house with the help to buy loan and you wanted to put an extension on that home, you would actually need to get permission from your help to buy agent or the people managing the help to buy scheme in your area before you can make such a change. And also, you won't be able to rent your property out, you won't be able to sublet it. And so because you don't own 100% of your property, you don't have full control over what you can do with that property. And that's another thing to bear in mind. Now, the last thing I want to mention, which I hinted to a few times in this video, is that if you take out a 20% help to buy loan, this is not necessarily going to be improving your prospects of being able to buy a property if you weren't able to buy a property without the help to buy loan. Now, this is because with a help to buy loan, you can only purchase new build properties, and new build properties come with a premium. And in a video I did where I compared new builds to existing builds, I talked about a piece of research which found that new one-bed flats in London were 25% more expensive than existing one-bed flats in London. Now, if this was the case when you were trying to use a 20% help to buy loan to buy a property, this wouldn't make any difference to your ability in buying a property if you weren't able to buy an existing property without the help to buy loan, because the help to buy loan only increases your purchasing power by 25%, which is going to be the difference between an existing build property and a new build property. Having said that, this is not the same amount across all of England, and this is not always the case. The new build premium, or the premium that you pay for new builds, can range between 10 to 25%. So a 20% help to buy a loan could improve your chances of buying a property. But the fact you have to pay a premium for new builds is going to eat into your increased purchasing power. And that's something you need to bear in mind if you're going to be using the help to buy loan. Now, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give the video a like. And also, I'm going to suggest some other videos that you might want to watch if you enjoyed this one. Now, the first video I'm going to recommend is Are You Better Off Without the Help to Buy Loan, where I compare the cost of buying a home with the help to buy loan to buying a home without the help to buy loan. The next one I'm going to recommend is the cost of buying a new build versus an existing build. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed those videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.